It's episode 11, American Hammers TV, and Lee's here with me as always, and we have two guests tonight. Gena from the Mile High Hammers out in Denver, Colorado. What's happening, guys? In Europe?
Nothing. It looks like I think Charlie's gone offline.
Oh no!
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'll invite him back.
Well, this is our first time to try to have two people with us on at once, and yeah, our internet tonight has not been great so far. I've had to switch to my phone here because my brother-in-law's computer crapped out on me. So.
Oh no.
So I've had to switch to the
awesome.
Well, I'm on my phone just because I'm technologically challenged, and this is the one I could figure out.
Yeah, that's okay. That's fine. No, we're all technologically challenged. Yeah, it's not the most super professional organization we have going, but we have fun with it. So
it's a work in progress, as I always say.
Yeah, it is a work in progress.
We'll get the hang of it, but so far, like I mentioned before, this is our 11th episode. Our mission is to showcase the different supporters groups across the country and try to give some insight on what you guys do and how you formed, any tips that you may have for other groups out there, and also encourage others who are not in supporters groups to start their own. That's the primary deal here.
Yep.
I will be inviting Charles back on here. I'll keep sending him invites so he pops back in. But in the meantime, Gena, how did you become a hammer?
So I actually married into it. I met my husband a long time ago, and on our first date, he was like, do you follow football? And I was, this is really embarrassing. I hate telling West Ham fans this, but I was like, yeah. I like Chelsea. And
oh
no! No, he's just like, I'm sorry, it'll never work. Like, we're a West Ham family. We're 3 generations of West Ham. He's like, so he's like, I'm sorry, it's not a thing. And so, I mean, I don't have any. I'm not married. I wasn't married to him. It's like, it was really one of those things where it's basically, it was the club at the time that was easy to follow. So,
right.
Yeah. I'll be honest, it's also embarrassing. I liked him because I'm a huge Blur fan, and Damon Albarn is a Chelsea fan.
So, is your husband is he English or is he American?
Yeah, he was born in Chapel Heath, actually, and he actually is still overseas. He's in the process of getting his green card to come here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he's going through all that fun. But yeah, he's British, and his dad actually played football for Ilford, and so I don't know what that has to do with anything. But yeah, so
no, but that's local though.
That's
I mean,
cool.
Ilford is right there it's right there in the neighborhood. That's all like right there in that area. So
we love non-league football too. Yeah, I mean, that's cool.
Yeah, so family is kind of funny because they're all very amused by this. I came back at Christmas and told him, I was like, yeah, I got West Ham Sports Club. It's really taken off. We have scarves, and his dad was just like,
Is that right? Okay, so what do they think of a bunch of Yanks getting into West Ham? I'm always curious about this. What's their take?
He actually his dad actually seemed really kind of quite charmed by it, because I showed him the picture of our club, and I just had I think we just had one of our biggest turnouts. I think we'd have like 22 people show out, which is massive for us.
That's cool. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, and so we just had 22 people show up, and I showed him the picture, and he was just quite impressed. He wasn't quite sure about the scarves, but he's getting one anyway. So
that's funny. So you've been over there. I mean, you must have been over there at some point, right?
Yeah, I go over there every Christmas.
Yeah.
I mean, that was one of the other things is when we got married, it's West Ham, and then also Christmas in the UK.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the second part. Do what?
Oh, Christmas in the UK. We have to spend Christmas in the UK.
Oh yeah, well
That's cool.
very nice. Yeah, it's a great place to spend Christmas. Yeah.
Great, great.
Do you ever go to a Boxing Day match?
No, I think this year, not this year. This year we went to Watford. And I'd like to go to a Boxing Day match, but I mean, part of the issue is I think that London Stadium don't really have Boxing Day matches there anymore, do they? They're all away now.
Oh, you're right. They don't. Yeah, because of the big shopping
right.
center. Yeah, that's right. They don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, another little piece of West Ham tradition that's died with the new stadium.
Yeah, it's now a shopping day.
Yeah. Well, you got to go return your things that you don't want, right? That's the idea. Like the day after Christmas, you go return all your unwanted gifts because you're an ungrateful, ungrateful jackass.
Oh,
so I'm like, well, I don't want these gifts. I'm going to take them all back. So not only are you like insulting your family and friends, but you're also preventing West Ham from playing at home on Boxing Day. So
yeah. So
that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
So Charlie, what about you, man? We got you back. That's cool.
Yeah.
I was worried about that for a second.
I don't know. I think it was my internet. We had a storm here yesterday and I had internet issues, but I thought it was fixed. But hopefully that's me for the long haul. So what was the question?
So how'd you become a hammer? Yeah, how'd you become a hammer?
Well, you can probably tell from the accent I'm not from here. So I was joking with Gena. I wasn't sure if I'd qualify for the show. Since I'm not.
Oh, sure.
You live here, though, right? I mean,
what's that?
Yeah. So you live here, though.
Oh yeah, I live here now. Yeah, I've been here like 4.5 years. So
you're American.
Yeah, I'm almost there. I got my green card, so I'm almost there. Yeah, I grew up in Northern Ireland. Never really supported anybody. Just loved football. And then my brother was a West Ham fan for no reason. So that might have something to do with it. But I don't know. From the age of 9, I just woke up one day and said, "Hey, I want to support West Ham." And my mom bought me a bed set, and from then it's been 26 years of let's not say misery.
26 years of questioning your decision for 26 years, I would think. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like there was as the song says, "The fade and die." So I've had my hopes built up a few times, and yeah, seen us win the playoff final, and that's the only cup, but I'll take it.
Yeah.
We were talking about this last week. I think that's the biggest victory we've had in the time I've been supporting West Ham, which is not 26 years, but I can't think of anything else that really comes close. So third place in the championship. You know?
Yeah, and you know what? Biggest game in football, they say it's worth the most money with the TV rights and stuff. So if you're going to win one, I guess that's not a bad one to win.
It's not a bad. It was a good one to win. Yeah, that's true. It was a good one to win.
Yeah,
that's true. So, so you've been in Denver for 4.5 years thereabouts?
No, I've been in Denver like 2.5 years now. I was in DC for 2 years, so I was with the DC Irons group for a while. And I know you had Costi on. He asked me to give him a shout out.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, good guy. Yeah.
So
and you're not the first foreigner we've had on the show. You know, Wayne from Dallas is English. So
is he? Yeah, I seen Wayne was on it, but I didn't watch it. Okay, he's English. All right, good.
He's a good dude. Yeah. So no, it's. I mean, as far as we're concerned, if you live in the U.S. and you follow West Ham, good enough. Doesn't matter if you're doesn't matter if you're from here or not. Not a big deal.
Yeah.
So how did you guys? So either one of you, whoever wants to jump in. So Gena, you married into West Ham. Maybe I'll start with you. How did you find the Denver group?
So basically, my friend Russ and I, about a year ago, were kind of like out drinking, and we stopped by Three Lions, which is the local football club here, football bar here. We were just kind of talking crap to the manager, and I just told him, I was like, we're going to start it's an Arsenal pub. And I told him, I was like, we're going to start a West Ham supporters club. And I was like, I'm going to make it huge, and I'm going to make your Arsenal supporters very uncomfortable one day. And he was just, yeah. And I was like, and you'll have to hang our flag. And, just drunk talk. we did decide, we're like, yeah, we're going to start a West Ham supporters club. And I started the Facebook page. And then Russ is kind of, you know, he's like a late night guy. So I kept kind of like trying to get him to come out with me. And I went out by myself a couple times. And I basically would show up to matches and there was like nobody there. It'd be like one person in the corner with like a West Ham shirt on. And I'd just be like, horrendous. And so actually, I think it was Wayne I was talking to because he was like on a forum. And he just like, you just need to be consistent. You just need to show up every day, every match, show up, wear your scarf, you know, just have people know that you're going to be there. And so that was my goal for the season. And then like right away, you know, it started kind of coming together where you started seeing West Ham supporters and then you start sitting together. And I think a lot of people knew each other. And then we got the Facebook page going and we got people coming in through that. And then Charlie does the Twitter, and he does a really good job on the Twitter. And we've had a lot of people come in through Twitter. But every week, I mean, we usually see somebody new there. And, you know, I'm not the most outgoing person in the world. You kind of make yourself get up and go over, how did you find us? You know, kind of business stuff. So, I mean, that's kind of on my end how it came about. You know, and
that's cool. And do you go to the same pub now? Do you still go to the Three Lions?
So that's funny that you mention that. Three Lions shut after we beat Arsenal.
No.
You closed the pub.
Shut them down. Yeah, so we had this whole big drama trying to find a new pub. And I mean, I won't dominate the conversation, but I did tell Charlie that I'd spent 45 minutes talking about this. But anyway, basically, I put together a business plan that involved a PowerPoint presentation that I was emailing out to pub owners, letting them know why bringing Premier League into their pub was a great idea. And I was calling them, and it all came together quite quickly, and not because of me.
Wait. That's amazing. Okay, so somebody responded at some point. Obviously, somebody, you know, was interested.
We joined a collective bargaining unit with Mile High Magpies, a Fulham supporter, and actually the Denver Junior.
Have we ever seen him since? Have we ever seen him?
There on Saturday. He's hilarious because he tried to talk crap about the fact we're by a shopping center.
Yeah.
You know, whatever.
Well,
the Arsenal group are there. They followed us to the Celtic, so
they did. Well, they were part of our collective bargaining unit. It was basically they were kind of they were kind of our cornerstone because they're huge.
They're a big group.
Right.
They're a big group.
Well, they I mean, there's a lot of glory hunters out there, although they're not hunting much glory by supporting Arsenal these days. But yeah. So what's the name of the place where you go now?
We go to
on Market, isn't it? Yeah, it's sorry.
No,
but yeah,
no, anybody.
I call it the Celtic. It's Celtic on Market because it's on Market Street, downtown Denver.
Yeah.
And so you guys are there with a bunch of other supporters groups at the same time for matches?
Yeah, I think there's about 4 who kind of made it their home. I mean, including the Fulham guy.
The poor guy who supports Fulham.
There's like Everton. There's like an Everton guy that shows up, and he's magical. He's magical. He just sits there basically and just like shouts insults at people, and they're all like good, proper British insults. You know, like not mean, but they're really fun. But they're kind of mean. So, anyways, yeah, he's quite good. So there's like, I guess, technically an Everton supporter group now too.
So do you guys so how does it work when you go? Do you get like your own corner where you sit, or I mean, is it like everybody like mixed together and you're watching different TVs, or what's the setup?
Well, no, we get our own section typically because luckily the owner, Noel, he's making a really big push for the soccer side of things. So he really wants it to be a soccer bar. They also open up early. They do like horse racing downstairs, so they open up like stupid o'clock for like,
wow.
And they allow gambling downstairs. So they're open, but he wants to make a really big push on it, and he's got the flags all around. He's got all the jerseys around the bar of every club. So making a really big push. But we've we've kind of got pretty good on good terms with him, haven't we, Gina? He's actually Irish, which helps. And Gina had been talking to him a bit, and he always comes over to us when we're in. So what he does is, no matter what, if we're on goal or the main TV, we get our own section. So we're guaranteed every game, which 90% of the time was the case at the Lions, but there would be the odd time we'd turn up and we weren't on, or we were like right in the corner in like a tiny TV on an iPad or something. So we're guaranteed a TV. We don't always get volume because if you're on gold, it's for a pub, it's hard now to really do everything. But yeah, we always get a little section to ourselves at least. Good.
Yeah, it's been a really good move, I think, for us actually. Because we kind of got to start from ground zero. Kind of everybody on level ground. So I think it's really given us the opportunity to kind of grow in a way.
Yeah.
So are you guys a rowdy crowd? Do you sing and are you sort of boisterous, or is it more like,
I was just talking about this with because I've been watching you guys' shows and seeing
Thank
kind
you.
of the other guys.
Thank you. Yeah, we appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I was like having this like existential crisis where I was like, to Nick, one of the guys in the club, I was just like, we are so quiet because they're kind of golf clap and stuff. And Nick was like, well, we're pretty new, we're kind of getting there.
To be fair, Nick, it's funny you mentioned Nick. I hope he's watching, but Nick's the one guy at like without fail. Doesn't matter if who we're playing, if we're the only ones in the bar. As soon as we kick off, there's a massive "Come on, you irons" out of him. So, Nick, to be fair, but yeah, I'd say we're pretty mellow. It might be the 8 a.m. starts, which are a bit tough, but
yeah. Right now, we talked to Kyle, and it was Kyle from Fresno, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm getting people's names mixed up, and I shouldn't do that, but anyway. So in Fresno, when they have the early games, they show up and the bar opens up. What's a brewery they go to? It opens up at 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
So that'd be 5:30, I think, where you are in Denver. So have you guys done any 5:30 games?
Yeah, I think a few of us have. Like I know it was I think it was Arsenal last season. There was a few of us go. We haven't had too many 5:30s. We've got one coming up against Spurs, don't we?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
But I know we went to. I think it was Arsenal last season or earlier in the season where it was a 5:30. I think it was last season. And yeah, a few of the guys went down. I'm pretty sure Sam was there. I didn't.
Arsenal that shut the pub down was a 5:30.
So that was it. Yeah, they were that one. That was it.
Oh, okay, that was the one.
Worth getting, wasn't it? So.
Yeah, it's So we do have plans, though. We have plans to rectify the stoicism of our club. They're kind of secret, but we'll let you know when they happen.
You can't give us a scoop? You can't tell us? There's not more than like 2 people watching this right now.
This is the platform to do it. This is the platform to do it. Give them a scoop.
Yeah, give us a scoop. Sorry, I was a reporter for a long time, so I have to ask.
We have 4 people watching, actually, to be honest with you.
Okay. A lot more will watch a lot of people watch the archive, but yeah, the live show, it's not as many. Anyway, if you want to tell us, you can tell us.
No, we have a bubble machine coming. That's it.
Yes. Yes.
We totally stole that from the Columbus Crew guy. I saw.
Yes.
Oh my God! Why don't we have a bubble machine? And Russ and I got like on this whole thing where it's like, what we should do is we should hide it. We should hide it behind the opposition's table and get a remote. And so we were sitting there, make sure it has a remote and has to have batteries. Because
what she's saying is we're about to get right here.
Nice. No, I love hearing that, though. I do.
I love it. No,
I think Kyle in Fresno says they do that too. Wayne said he tried it out, but it got too messy.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But no, that's awesome, man. That's awesome.
I haven't ran it by the pub owner yet, but I'm more of a ask for forgiveness more than ask for permission.
Yeah.
Totally.
He'll be all for it.
Yeah.
No.
Totally.
There's worse things on the floor at bars, but yeah.
It's just soap. It's just soap, right?
Yeah,
That's all it is. Yeah.
That's awesome.
A little bit of soap. We have one. We have one for the kids. We have one that we use in the summer. Kids run around in the bubbles. It's not a big deal.
That's awesome.
So Charlie, how'd you get into the group in Denver?
So Same as Gena. I used to when I moved from DC, I was sort of like, I'll pop down for a couple of games, and there wasn't too many people, down. Every now and then you would meet the odd person. I think I'd seen Gena a few times, and I don't know why. When I first moved, I was sort of still settling into Denver and didn't have the energy, I feel like, to like start something up or like try and get really involved. And then I met Nick, I met Dave. They're both actually from England. And we just started hanging out. We started like a WhatsApp group and started like grabbing people's numbers, and then got chatting to Gena and Russ. And Gena had mentioned how she had the Denver Hammers Facebook group, and she was sort of used that as a forum for people to like get in touch. So then we were like, let's push on with that. And I think I'd asked you, Gena, if you mind if I started.
Oh, I think we lost him. Oh no, are you still there, buddy?
He was gonna say Twitter.
Yeah. But that's kind of the same thing with me, though. I am no good and never have been on Twitter. I tap in from time to time, but Lee, that's his wheelhouse. And so he is taking the helm of that. Whereas, I handle the Instagram and the Facebook. But, yeah, Twitter's, you either are good at it or not, I guess, or you're either into it or not.
Well, the funny thing about Twitter is when I was a journalist, I wrote a blog post one time about how much I hated Twitter, and this is like 10 years ago. And twice now I've been quoted in like major media organizations talking about how much I hate Twitter. I did an interview on BBC Radio years ago about how much I hated Twitter. And then I was like USA Today or somebody like that called me about it because they read this blog post that I wrote. It's still online, and they read it and they call me and they're like, "Oh, were you talking about this?" So I've talked to two different people how much I hate Twitter. However, the Twitter for the American Hammers TV is actually a lot of fun, and I enjoy it because it's just all West Ham stuff. There's no extraneous, no like politics. No, it's just all West Ham, all football, all West Ham, and I love that. So I actually enjoy this Twitter feed. I enjoy. It's much better than normal Twitter, which is not normal.
No.
It can make you insane. Yes. He gave me like the login to help with Twitter, and I was just like, Twitter is just not my thing. It's just not. I look at it and I just get overwhelmed. And so I just kind of let him run with it. And like I said, he does a good job. And I think that is one of the things that I like. That's pretty much the only thing I pay attention anymore is pretty much West Ham related stuff on Twitter. Because it's just kind of not political. I made the mistake one time. I made a meme and I put, I think, Barack Obama on it. And I immediately, I wasn't trying to make a comment at all.
Right.
Not comment, but it was one of those things that immediately, it's like seeing, it's like seeing a coworker in your favorite bar. It was like you've let in the outside.
What is
it's
the worst
totally
for that?
The third rail. It's totally the third rail. Yeah.
Yeah. The biggest trolls are living in the Twitterverse.
We try to keep it positive, on Twitter because we want everybody to have a good time and have fun, and we want to have fun with what we're doing. So I try to retweet stuff about history, West Ham history, or what people are doing in their places where they're watching the match across the country, or highlights, match highlights, that sort of thing. But yeah, we try to keep it positive because Twitter gets negative really quickly.
Real quick. So let's segue back to Charlie.
All right, Charlie.
You were about to say Twitter.
You know what I think it was? My wife was downstairs watching it, so I think the internet was having trouble.
Oh, it was overtaxed.
She's off. I couldn't watch it after. So.
Right.
I'm down in the living room now, so.
Now we're down to 3 live viewers.
Sorry about that.
There you go.
We'll watch it later, though. We'll watch it later. So where'd you get to?
Cool. We have
disappeared.
We actually have 8 now. That's actually a step up.
Hey, if you're watching live, send us a message. I won't get it because
we do have a message from a guy named Jack who sent us those, the cross hammers, and then said, "My what a handsome group," and yeah.
Clearly, my video is not working. If you said that,
yeah,
let's not be able to see me at all.
I think I don't know that he's a new watcher or viewer.
Maybe it's Jack Sullivan.
No, Jack Hater or whatever. Yeah.
It's not David's lad hanging out late at night and watching us. Probably not. It's probably got better things to do.
Maybe getting it.
Yeah. So Charlie, so you run the Twitter account. So you're the social media guy then.
Yeah, I like Twitter. I'm not a massive Facebook guy, so it kind of helps. But before I got cut off there, I was just saying, so like when we met Gena, she'd ran the Facebook group, and I'd asked her, can I start up do you mind if I use your the Denver West Ham thing for Twitter? But when we went onto Twitter, there was somebody had taken the handle and had no posts, nothing. So we sort of decided as a group to, if we're going to push this group, and try and get us out there.
Yeah.
We'll rebrand as the Mile High Hammers. It had a nice ring to it. And so I run the Twitter, Gena runs the Facebook and the Instagram.
And who did the logo?
So
Gena, you mentioned that?
The logo was a friend of mine, Kenny from the DC Orange group. His brother, did the DC one as well, but reached out to his brother, and I just asked him, give us something Denver oriented with like the mountains and stuff, and he came back with that. He didn't even give us options. That was it. And as soon as we saw it, we were like, "That's
yeah,
like, it looks
fantastic." Yeah, it's awesome.
So far, it's the most popular one. Yeah.
Yeah, and
he needs to do one for us in Boston. The Boston Hammers, great group of guys. Don't get me wrong, but the Boston Hammers logo is a little on the, it's a little simple. So we need somebody to put a clipper ship on there, or I don't know, something. But anyway, yeah, the one you have is very cool. So I just think, Gena, I want to go back for a second, if you don't mind. So you put together this business plan, which still is like amazing to me that you took the time to do that. So when you did it, did you bring in like the Arsenal people and the Newcastle people to help? Were they part of that, or was it all you?
No, it was mostly at the time. I was just basically, I was approaching it from the point of view of, opening your bar to Premier League, you know what I mean?
Right.
In general. And then basically, then I started kind of looking out, and I got a message that came up from Mile High Magpies, and he's all like, "Hey, have you heard Three Lions closed?" And I was like, "Yes." I've been working on this for like 6 hours. And he's like, "Would you be interested in like, approaching, pubs together?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure. I'm at work."
Yeah.
Great PowerPoint that you can take with you. Yeah. So anyways, so I actually cannot take credit for the collective bargaining unit, but it was actually put together by the Fulham guy.
Really?
Yeah.
Keeps popping up.
Well, he had the most need, right? Because he's just one guy. So
totally. Because they show Fulham matches there. They have one dude said
Not next season. Oh.
Yeah, it's not looking good. It's not looking good.
Be a little more difficult.
I don't know if they're going to have the championship in that pub if they can watch Fulham play like Forest or I don't know, Derby County or whatever. But it's a bummer for him.
Yeah, all that effort. But yeah. So.
Thanks. Yeah.
He's going to have to subscribe to BN Sports by himself, I think.
BN Sports, yeah, they play quite a few now. Yeah. That's awesome.
Big games.
It's fun to catch those matches time to time, those championship matches.
Yeah,
because they are.
Really
topical.
I love the championship. I didn't even mind when we were in it. I mean, obviously rather be in the Premier League, but the thing I liked about the championship was we went into every game and I thought we could win this.
Yeah, and you know what was good? Yeah, I don't want to make it sound like I preferred being in the championship.
No, I don't either. Yeah.
But you had a game like you had a midweek game, a weekend game, like every few days there was a game. It was awesome. Like you didn't get that like midweek dry spell where you're just crying out for a game. You always had something going on. It was great. And yeah, we were winning most of the time, so it was interesting.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it was like watching hockey. It felt like watching the Bruins. They were playing all the time.
Ticket prices were cheaper when I used to go over. They were a lot cheaper, and then when we got promoted, bang, they shot up. Obviously,
yeah. Well, and apparently they've gone up again. If you're buying season tickets, which none of us would do, obviously, but they've gone up again, which I don't know. It's sort of irrelevant to us, but a lot of people online are really angry about it.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, the stadium move was a sore point, wasn't it? And then there was the promise of affordable football, and I think the price increase just happened. I don't think there was any warning, and
No, there wasn't.
Yeah.
But
Well,
doesn't that happen with all sports, though? I mean, across the globe, like every single year, the prices go up, right? I mean,
it might. Yeah, I think
Mostly.
I think people are still recovering from the stadium move and hoping affordable football, and I guess I don't know.
One thing I'll say that I have to say that I've thought about all week is that the timing that West Ham have is just astonishing to me. So we put in our worst performance of the season against Cardiff, arguably. It's certainly one of the three worst performances.
It's up there. It's up there. Yeah.
Garbage performance, right? So everybody's down on the club. Everybody's down about West Ham. So we've got a game against Huddersfield coming up on Saturday. I think it's at home. I think it's very winnable.
Mm-hmm.
Would it have killed them to launch the season ticket campaign after Huddersfield? After maybe we win one?
That's a really good point, actually. Like they're kicking us when we're down. I think what granted we there, but it's just.
And I'll tell you something else. I always get the emails about the new fashion range after we've lost some game where we've had some just abysmal performance. They send me pictures of all these players who were total crap on Saturday, and they're wearing all this new gear. And don't get me wrong, I want to buy it all. Obviously, I always want to buy it all.
Yeah, but it's not smart.
But I mean, I'm just like, this is the worst time. Like, why don't you wait until it's? I'm not saying it's a sure thing, obviously with West Ham, but chances of us winning on Saturday are pretty good. So why don't you take a chance and delay 1 week until everybody's all happy about the club again and happy about the stadium, up on West Ham, and then come back and say, hey, wasn't that fun? Come buy a season ticket. Instead, they come out they come out maybe at the worst. Certainly the worst performance of the season, and maybe one of the worst points of the season. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't know. I mean, I work in marketing now, and this just baffles me to no end.
Somebody, I don't know. But that the Cardiff game was, I think you're right. It was up there with the worst, but it wasn't completely surprising to me because it's just been how we've been doing this season. We beat teams like Arsenal, and then we turn up against Cardiff where you're super confident and you're like, should be beating these guys. They've lost 2 on the trot. Granted, they're going to fight. They're fighting for their life, but play like that. We had one shot on target and it was in the second half.
It's just they didn't turn up. They didn't turn up, and you can't put all the blame on Pellegrini for that, right? I mean, he put this on Sunday night when we had who was New York? Wasn't it Tim? Wasn't it Jake from New York? Yeah. I mean, he said all week last week we have to prepare the team to play Cardiff, and we have to convince my players that this is a real opponent, and then they didn't show up. So. Anyway, I don't want to dwell on that too much because we're moving on. Yeah. But it was disappointing to say the least. It was disappointing.
Yeah.
And then they came out and said, pay 10% more for a season ticket and also buy a new 75-pound jacket.
When's your jacket arriving? I'm sure you bought it.
No, listen, I've resisted. No, not yet. Not yet. I always wait until the end of the season to buy my shirts because they go on sale.
Yeah, you're right. Well, Ross, who Gena was talking about, every week he turns up, Gena, he's got a new item of clothing.
Yeah, he does. That guy, he that app is being even the Wimbledon jackets. It's we were sitting there, we have matching Wimbledon jackets, and we pretty much try and coordinate when we're going to wear them. He sits there, and we're just online. He's like, ordered them for us. They're on their way. They'll be here by Thursday. It's just pretty much how he is. He'll see something on.
Really?
Yeah, he's hilarious.
So yeah, he'll be buying those jackets after the 2-0 defeat of Cardiff. That's for sure.
I wish I could. I wish I could. Yeah, it's costs a bit to get them over here. It's just a little bit out of the budget sometimes, but yeah, I'm always tempted. Every time I get one of those emails, even when I'm super angry at West Ham, I still want all the stuff in the email.
Yeah,
always the same.
It's not having kids. It's not having kids. Then you can put all your money into your West Ham stuff.
Yeah.
Well, Gena, looking at your background there, you painted your wall claret. It's a big commitment there.
That is so funny you mentioned that because I have to show you my living room.
I told Gena she was going to give them the house tour. Here we go.
Oh, here we go. Okay, yeah. It's a little choppy, but it'll work eventually.
I'll stop moving. Okay, I have to turn on the light, obviously.
No, I see. I do. Yeah.
Yeah, we can see. Yeah.
It's totally blue.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Oh man,
that is fantastic.
I will tell you, it actually is a coincidence. I picked the colors. I just really liked them together, and I painted them. And then, like, one of my friends came over and is like, "Did you paint your apartment like your team you like?" And I was like, so pathetic. They were like, said it was so much like pathos. Like,
yeah, I have so far lost the battle. We've got to get our outside of our house painted, at some point. I don't know when, but soonish. And
there's 3 houses in Chelmsford, Lee, that are painted on the outside. It's light blue with the claret shutters.
I know.
Yeah.
This is what I've been campaigning for. Is like, is the light blue with the we got a little claret trim. We got a little trim.
Yeah.
I have, but you know what? We haven't done it yet. But I'm still pushing for that. I haven't won that battle yet, though.
I think I could take stills, because it actually goes really well, and I think I could help you.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And
I would appreciate that.
Yeah, gotta support each other.
What I need is for somebody to actually come paint the house.
Gena, that's volunteer for here.
That's the part we haven't quite gotten to yet, because it's you got to do the whole thing, and anyway, it's a lot. So so for now, I still have the chipping paint on the side of the house, but hopefully when it's fresh paint, it'll be a nice castle blue or whatever the color is, and then and we'll do the claret trim. So we'll see. Maybe I'll just make it. I'll do it as a surprise, right? We'll go on vacation, have somebody do the house. We'll come back. It'll just be done.
That's it.
That shouldn't be a problem at all.
It's ask forgiveness, not permission thing.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if that works. I don't know if it works in the house. I'm not sure that works in the house. It may work at work, but I'm not sure it works at home.
Yeah.
So, have you guys both been to? Tell me about your West Ham experiences in England. Did you guys go to the Boleyn, and have you been to the Olympic Stadium?
Yeah. I've when I lived back home, it was a little bit easier than what it is now. So yeah, I was in a Belfast Hammers group. I think they're still going. They still go to games.
Well, yeah, you that's right. You lived over there for a long time.
Yeah, so what, a 45-minute flight, 1-hour flight to London. So yeah, I've been to the Boleyn a few times. Actually, my first game was 1999. We lost 1-0 to Leicester. Stimage got sent off, and I was with my mom. She took me. I was 1999, so I would have been like 13, 14, and everybody started calling the referee a wanker, chanting it in the stands. So my mom was sitting looking at me going, this mightn't have been a good idea, but it actually took me 5-6 games that I went to before we won. We lost every single game that I went to. It was incredible. And then
that's a true West Ham experience.
Yeah, but
we were pretty good back then. We were pretty good back then. Those were the DeCanio games. Those were good teams. Yeah,
we had DeCanio, Joe Cole, and stuff like them. Them guys were phenomenal. But I've been to a few big games. We beat Spurs 1-0. Pickion scored. Went to Millwall at home. We beat them 2-1 with 10 men. Kevin Nolan got sent off.
I remember that. Yep.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite game. Like the year before, we'd beaten them in the cup, and I think a couple of people got stabbed, and it was the biggest.
Yeah.
The game I was at was the biggest metropolitan police operation since, like, I think it was the tube bombings or something. Like, it was massive, and they closed all the bars around the stadium just to stop you from drinking, which was pretty shitty, but understandable. But the game was incredible, like red hot atmosphere, and we beat them 2-1. Unbelievable. Like, I think
that wasn't the one with the pitch invasion, was it?
No, that the game that was the year before.
That was the cup game. Yeah, that was the cup, because that was like August.
Yeah, I think you're right.
It was like August of whatever year that was. because there are these great photos of like shirtless West Ham fans going down to like hugging Carlton Cole.
That's right, yeah. Yeah, so that was the game after that when we played them in the championship, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right, because we had gone down. Yeah.
So yeah.
So how was the atmosphere? How was the atmosphere for West Ham and Millwall? That's not a game you get to see very often.
Yeah, that was on my bucket list, and that was a proper red hot atmosphere. Like normally the away fans and the Bull-in sat in the lower tier and the stand opposite the Bobby Moore. And what they'd done was move the Millwall fans up high to the upper tier, and then no fans were allowed to sit on the bottom, so they were completely isolated. So that's known. And then there was a group of like before kickoff, like 50 Millwall fans had tried to like get into the stand that I was in, and it was just they were nowhere near getting in. But you were like, this is awesome. This is what we came for. Like it was a proper red hot atmosphere. Yeah. No one got sent off. We went 1-0 up. They equalized, and then Winston Reid scored like a bomb from long range. And I was sitting on the opposite stand, but right behind it. I knew as soon as he hit it, it was going in. And I ended up, no joke, like 3 or 4 rows down. Just it went, man, that was probably the best game I've been to. That was phenomenal. And I put a bet on. I put a bet on that we'd win 2-1, and I won like.
Nice. Oh, that's awesome. Nice. That's proper atmosphere. Right?
Yeah.
So the Olympic Stadium. I mean, not the same, right? Because we talk about this a lot with everybody who comes on. Tim's been to the Olympic Stadium. I went to the Bowling years ago, but I have not been to the Olympic Stadium. Mm-hmm. He never got to go to the Bowling, so we can't really make good comparisons. But I'm sure it's just a different, experience altogether.
It's different. I've been twice actually to the Olympic Stadium, and Gena touched on the shopping. My biggest problem with it is actually the walk to the stadium. Upton Park was proper old school, and you had an atmosphere the whole way. You don't get that at the Olympic Stadium. But that being said, I understood it wasn't going to be the same. I understood the need for change. I understood the reasons for change, whether they're true or not, but I understood the philosophy. But, the first game I was at was West Ham Chelsea in the Cup, and we beat them 2-1. And, let me tell you, when there was 50,000 people cheering in a London derby, and I was sitting with my friend, I was like, nobody's thinking about Upton Park right now. When you're winning and everything's fine. And this season, we have a great home record. The stadium's not an issue. It's just not. I think it's different. You accept it's different, but it's a nice stadium. And
the stadium's only an issue when we lose. Exactly. We're home or away. That's what's funny. It's an issue when we lose away. It's an issue if we lose at home, which we've done really well at home this season. I think success. I think first of all, the Upton Park atmosphere. The atmosphere at the Bowl-in is obviously hard to recreate because the new place is shaped the same way. But as far as like the teams that actually played there, there was a lot of legends, a lot of great players, a lot of great games. There was also a lot of really poor football played there.
You got relegated twice. Relegated like twice at Upton Park. So
right. I mean, that's what I mean. It was there were bad times too that people probably forget. And I think if we can press on, if we can improve in the next couple of seasons, which I hope we will, then the stadium people will forget about the stadium, or they'll be less concerned about it.
Yeah. Upton Park was great. You'll never beat it, but we're not there anymore. We got to move on. I feel like so.
So how about you, Gena? Have you had experiences over there?
So I've only ever been to London Stadium, and actually, my husband, the last match they were going to play at the Bowl-in, we were living in Dubai at the time.
Oh wow!
And my husband, obviously, lifelong West Ham fan, and he was sitting there, kind of, should we try and go? Should we try and go? And I actually was like trying to find anybody who sells tickets, and I found some guy who then sells tickets for like a fortune. And he's just like, no, it's too expensive. It's not the right thing to do. Blah blah blah. Anyways, I was trying so hard to manipulate him into buying like manipulative Facebook posts. I was like, because I just didn't have the money.
Oh no, yeah. Well, it's funny. We talked to Jake from New York on Sunday night. By the way, I don't know if I think Tim might be fading out here, but I'm sure he'll get back in as soon as he can. But we talked to Jake on Sunday night, and he was at that game. He went to the last game of Bowl-in. He won a ticket lottery or something.
What? Okay.
Yeah, which is sort of amazing. I mean, and the thing is, listen, fantastic guy, and I love talking to him. he brings that up like 45 minutes into the conversation.
Yeah, I would have. Oh, that's my opening line right there. Like,
I know. I'm like, he can't. So we get 45 minutes in, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I was at the last game at the Bowl-In. I know Declan Rice's parents. I know Bill Gardner." I mean, it's like maybe you could have started with that, but anyway, it's okay because he was.
It
great.
was a last minute. He came in last minute because we were supposed to have Sean from New York City. So he really didn't have any time.
He was fantastic. He was fantastic, and we would love to have him again. I just thought it was funny because I would have, if I had been at the last game at the Bowl-In, I would have that tattooed on my forehead. You know, everybody in the world would know that about me. You know? So, yeah. So, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I just say I was like, I told him, I was like, you will regret this. You will regret this. And sure enough, I think we had to leave at like 3 a.m. At 1 o'clock, he woke up and he's like, I wonder if we can still catch a flight to London. And I was like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I'd went. I wish I had been able to go. But yeah, it's actually one of my small regrets is like my wife's American, and I took her to the Olympic Stadium, and you know, we've been together like 10 years now, and I never took her to Upton Park. So she never got to experience like proper football because it is different now. That's probably something I kind of regret a little. Never got to take her.
Is she a fan?
She's a fan's maybe a little bit strong. She's more understanding to my obsession.
Yeah. My wife loves the show. She likes that I'm doing the show with Tim. Yeah. She doesn't understand being a sports fan at all. Like it's just not her thing. So she's kind of an intellectual. She's very smart. Not smart enough to have avoided marrying me, but anyway, dumb enough to have married me. But so it's not her thing. But yeah, so it's I understand what you mean. I wouldn't ever use the word fan. It's more like well, she said to me one time, you know, because I went to college at TCU. I'm a TCU football fan, and I like to watch the Bruins, Boston Bruins, and she says, "So which one is it? Is it West Ham or TCU or the Bruins?" And I was like, "Well, it's all of them." It's mostly West Ham. Don't get me wrong, but I'm like, it's not just one; it's all of them. So you know that she didn't get it. But
well, how did you guys get into West Ham? I don't know if you've mentioned this on your shows before, or I might have missed it, but
we've touched on it from here and there. But go ahead, Lee.
I think for me, it started early days. It started with Paolo Di Canio. He was such a fantastic player. When we started getting those, we started getting a highlight show here in the U.S. It was on Fox Sports. I think it was before it was even Fox Sports. I think it was still Sports Channel, maybe. Anyway, we got this half-hour Premier League highlight show, and I used to watch Di Canio, and I just thought he was amazing. I sort of tried not to be a West Ham supporter, but I think what hooked me more than anything else was when I started meeting West Ham fans, and just even before I really supported the club. I lived in Europe for a few years, lived in France for a few years. And they were always the best, the funniest. They had the best sense of humor. They're always the most fun to hang around. And then when I looked into the history of the club and I realized, you know, they'd never won the league, and that the whole history of the club was about this sort of like history of glorious failure, like fortune's always hiding and, you know, they fade and die. That just resonated with me on a very personal level, completely. Plus, you know, I mean, I love the sort of the blue collar nature of the club. I love the the biggest thing for me, in all honesty, the biggest thing for me is if after 100 and something years, West Ham finally win the league or anything really, I'll be able to say I was there before it all happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I bought in during the bad times, during the long trophy drought. And, you know, they have won the FA Cup since I was 6 years old and had no idea that, you know, it even existed at the time. So for me, a lot of it is just loyalty to a club because I love it, not because there's any success, and because the West Ham have the best fans. We have the best fans, American fans and English fans all over the world. West Ham fans are the best fans. To me, it's not even close.
Yep, I agree. Yep.
I don't know, Tim. What was your thing?
It started off just as I was reading Sports Illustrated here in the States, and there was an article by a guy named Bill Simmons saying, you know, hey,
Boston sports guy. Yep.
Yeah, he's like, hey, you need to pick a team, but you don't know what team to pick. Here's a whole article. He breaks down every single team and he compares them to American sports teams, saying, hey, like, you know, Manchester United is like the New York Yankees, so you don't want to support them. And since he's a Boston guy, obviously, and he broke it all down back in, you know, '08. And so I read that and I thought that was interesting. So I checked, you know, my personal lineage, and I found out that, you know, East London, there's something there. And obviously I saw the crest and I saw the hammers and I saw the colors, and I just immediately felt the connection. But it wasn't a strong connection until I started playing Football Manager and picked West Ham and became 100% obsessed and addicted, and started, because of that, I you know, started checking out the history and of the club and watching as many, you know, YouTube videos as possible and highlight videos of, you know, from the historic aspect, and lots of hooligan videos. I'm like, okay, if I was going to be somewhere in London by myself at night, who do I want on my side? And I want West Ham fans, you know. So, you know, a culmination of everything. But it's basically this crest, like, you know, the hammers, the badge, the colors. I absolutely, well, I can't really see, but
I was going to say it.
And, forever blowing bubbles.
He's got a major tat. Yeah.
So just like anything else in my life, you know, I just become completely obsessed, and I have to know every single thing about it. I have to just completely dive in and be all in, and West Ham's that. And then last year I finally get to go to the Olympic Stadium. I regret not going to the Bowl-In, but at that time, tickets from the States were outrageously expensive. And since the 2 years after that, after they left the Bowl-In, the prices dropped significantly. So I was able to spend 10 days out there and be able to catch the last two matches. I worked it out, so I caught the last two home matches of last season. So I got to see them draw against Manchester United, which was phenomenal for me. And then they beat Sam Allardyce's Everton 3-1, and there was nothing better than that. So that was just the absolute best experience. Again, like you tapped into, the stadium is not the issue. You know, when they're winning or they're drawing Man U, I mean, that place is loud. That place, the atmosphere is fantastic, and the pubs around, wherever they are, I mean, you got to really hunt them down to find them, because there's so much, you know, business and construction and everything else. But if you find a pub with a West Ham flag, and that place is packed, the atmosphere is great there. But getting from there to the pub, that's where it's horrible. There's 100% lacking.
Yeah, that's my big. Yeah, it's awesome. I always one thing I love about you know, living in the States now, you know, when everybody, you know, Americans that support West Ham, they've always got a different reason for supporting it. I always find it pretty interesting to understand.
Yeah, we've heard everything from watching Green Street Hooligans to actually people, their parents being from there, or, you know, they had someone who came over from there and show them the West Ham way, you know. And
you know what? And listen, I like Green Street. I'm not saying it's a good movie. I'm not saying it's an accurate or, you know, authentic movie.
But
do I like it? Yeah, I like it.
The Firm was even better. You know? That was loosely based on.
The Firm is legitimately a really good movie. I listen. I know West Ham fans in England hate Green Street. I know why. I get it. I totally get it. I mean, Elijah Wood is a hooligan. It's crazy. But dude, when he comes back and he gives a beat down to the guy who was trying to get him kicked out of Harvard, and then he sings Bubbles afterward, I'm like, yeah.
And then we've also heard, you know, punk music, getting people into, if they were fans of punk music and the Cockney Rejects and everything else. And I've heard a million different things, but it is cool to hear, like you said.
Yeah, your point about like West Ham fans being the best. One thing I found my whole life is, you walk into a bar and you see somebody wearing a West Ham shirt, you can go and talk to them and you'll probably end up with a friend for life. If you walk into a bar and somebody's wearing a Man United shirt, no disrespect to them, but it's a possibility they might even know anything about Man United. So that's what I love about West Ham. You know, you're in it, you're invested in it. So,
well, that's, you know, there's no glory hunters, right? That's the thing. There's no glory hunters. Sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, I was like, you know, I was talking to someone about this the other day at work, and we were talking about like personal philosophies. and I was saying, my personal philosophy, entropy, basically, chaos into organization. And I was like, to me, I think West Ham kind of fits that, you know what I mean? Where it's like, it's all going to be shit, but it's going to be okay in the end. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so I think it's the philosophy. I think that you end up with a higher tier of supporter.
You do.
Yeah.
You have to care if you support West Ham, especially as an American. If you're doing it from 3,000 miles away or whatever, from an ocean away, you really have to care. You can't do it casually. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It's not. You could support a top 6 club and kind of be halfway interested but you can't do that with West Ham. If you're going to do it, you got to be all in.
Yep.
And what I find is that the people we've talked to on this show, the people I've met in person, the people I've met online, they're all in. And as you said, there's a sense that it's going to be a roller coaster ride. And I don't know. I always go back to my friend I worked with who was from Paris, and he was a big PSG supporter. Again, he was from there, to be fair, and But when I worked with him, we would talk about the football every week, and he would say, "Well, PSG are going to play, Marseille or Rennes or whatever it was," and he's like, "We should win this week. We should win this week." And of course, they should because they have all this money. These great players. I cannot live that way. I don't know how to. It's like it makes no sense to me to just say, "Oh, we should win this week." It's not. It doesn't make any sense. I can't support that kind of club where the expectation is you're going to win. That's why the championship was so weird. Nice in a way, but also weird.
Yeah.
Because we were like the big dog, and we're never the big dog. It felt funny,
But when I was over there, I still to this day talk to some people from Norway that I met and hung out with that week because they heard my accent and immediately ran over to me, and a couple English fellows too that I met there. I mean, every single person over there that was a West Ham fan that I met was nothing but super friendly, super down to earth, super cool, and stay in touch. Come on over, hang out with me. And a couple of Germans and a couple of Norwegians, I met them on the second day I was there, and they said, "You're spending the week with us. Just hang out with us. We want you to be with us." And it was just awesome to feel that, from people that you never in a million years would ever meet.
It's a family, and you don't get the family with other clubs. You don't get the family because they're suspicious of why you're even there.
Yeah.
Like, do you just support us because we're winners? But that never happened with West Ham. If you support us, you bought into it's like being part of a cult or something. I mean, you sort of bought into it for better or worse.
Yeah.
Usually worse.
Yep.
Yeah, just randomly, I got tagged in a post I think a couple weeks ago where it was I think Manchester City. I don't even know who they played, but it was versus maybe Chelsea or something like that. And I got tagged, and it's like, are you and Gena football rivals? And I was just like, how can you even think that? I was like, all I ever post about is my West Ham supporters group. It's literally all.
Since people have no idea, I used to go to a church. I used to go to a church in Newton, Mass, and I have a West Ham coat, winter coat that I wear, has the old badge on it. And I was wearing it one Sunday morning, and the pastor walks up to me and he says, "West Ham United." He says, "Is that like Manchester United?"
Right.
I was like, only in the sense that it's a Premier League football club. Other than that, no, not really, But they don't know. A lot of Americans don't know. They have no idea.
That's basically what I got out of it, is the fact that it's like they know I like a soccer team.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, sure, it must be the one that plays my other friend that likes the soccer team's team.
Right, as if there's only one team in England. Yeah, right. Yeah. Or if you watch the Premier League, you must all watch the same. Yeah, it's funny, but it's a good. It's like a family culture. I mean, I know Tim through West Ham. My friend I talk about all the time, my friend Ken up in New Hampshire. He's the one who took me to the Bowl-In years ago. I know him obviously through West Ham. We met on a West Ham message board. Tim and I met because I used to blog about West Ham. I don't really have time to do that anymore, but all kinds of people. And now all these people we've met through the show. I mean,
it's amazing.
Yeah. It's amazing. In fact, I should have mentioned this at the very beginning, but Tim is going to Dallas in April It's gonna be
You
there.
threw it out of the bag.
I saw
What?
the
You-
post. I knew it was Dallas.
Damn it!
Why? I wasn't supposed to tell you. I wasn't supposed to
No,
say anything.
We too.
son of a
Gina
bitch.
told you about the bubble machine, so
You got to tell me these things if you want to keep it a secret.
Oh man, I put a poll up on Twitter, dude, which is the thing
It's okay, you know what?
you used, and you didn't see it.
No, I didn't see it. When did you put it up?
Well, anyway, yeah, I'm going to.
We're an hour into the show. It's 10 o'clock at night on the East Coast.
Yeah, no one's gonna watch this anyway. Yeah.
Plenty of people have not seen this yet.
No, I was
So-
gonna actually. Me and the guy from Oklahoma were gonna. I was trying to get him to go down too, but I was gonna surprise him down there and just show up. But
Oh, gosh.
Wayne, if you're watching, hopefully you're too, inebriated.
Sorry, man. I had no idea it was supposed to be a secret. I was only saying I'm working on it. I don't know if I can go or not. I'm working on
Well,
it.
here's the thing. So my dad,
Hometown.
my dad's in Tampa, so that was like I think I've mentioned that in the show, which no one would even remember. But I put that up as a choice too, and that was a possibility. But I'm actually going there at Christmas time. So if the Tampa Hammers group is still around, then I'm going to watch a match hopefully with them. But we're actually going April 8th to down to Boston. I actually got a guy coming down from New Hampshire to go with us down to watch that. And then obviously March 30th, we get that NBC Sports Fan Fest thing that we're going to be at. So that'll be cool. But I was thinking, my wife's going on vacation with the girlfriend of hers to Orlando, and I was like, what am I going to do? I decided to pick a different supporters group, someplace warm, because that's why I was going to put Columbus, Ohio in the thing, but people who know me know that I would never go anyplace cold.
Yeah.
And even though I'm here, why would I want to go, to New York City, in the wintertime?
If we knew how to edit, if we knew how to edit videos, we could edit this whole thing out. But we don't.
I'll figure it out.
I think we're just. Dallas is my hometown. If I'm able to go, it's going to be the whole family going, because I can't go without my mom, who's from there. I can't go without the boys who want to go back. We were thinking about going at Christmas time, which is an awfully long way off. And if we do go at Christmas, we'll watch a game with them down there. We'll go to.
So April 13th, they're playing Manchester United, and that's I'll be at Dallas for that game. And again, I'm still trying to get the guy from Oklahoma, who's only almost a 3-hour drive. North of.
It's at least that far.
They said down 38 or whatever it is, or 83. It's 2 hours and 50 minutes with no traffic. But either way, I'm going to try to convince them. But anyway, one of our continuous live chatters here, the guy that live chats every single episode of ours, the guy from Twitter, Wally World, says he's laughing out loud, says I figured it was Dallas. So somebody
was paying attention. Well, maybe he won't tell anybody. Wally, don't tell anybody, okay?
Yeah, please.
I thought it was Dallas. I don't know why. When I saw the poll, I thought it was Dallas.
Yeah, I mean, look, it was just for fun, because we haven't really ever done a poll yet, and we're still brand new at everything. I did it for fun, just for shits and giggles. But anyway, you guys want to mention anything about any upcoming matches or events you got going on, or you want to also, if you can remember, the address to that, and you want to mention that to the Celtic on Market.
Yeah, Celtic on Market. It's on Market and 14th downtown Denver.
All right, say it again. Your audio broke up a little bit. Say it again.
Mayor Gena.
It's 1400.
Either one.
1400 Market.
1400 Market Street, just off 14th on Market.
Excellent.
Awesome.
And Denko, as they call it sometimes.
Yeah, and we'll have the bubble machine.
That's right. They're going to introduce the bubble machine. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, on May 12th, Gina, we're doing a big day for the final game, aren't we?
Yeah, May 12th, we are trying to get out a very large group for our final match. I've kind of asked everybody to get babysitters, in-laws, whatever it takes to get people out. And I have random people, like my brother is a Liverpool supporter, apparently is going to come. Whatever.
That's awesome.
Right.
That's cool. Yeah.
That's cool. I mean,
I'm going to convert him. He follows my Facebook page, and He likes all
I believe that. Your determination is extremely impressive. I'm super impressed and grateful for what you're doing for the club. You should be on the payroll. You should be running. I'll tell you what. Somebody should be running whatever Jack Sullivan does. You guys should be doing it instead. That's how I feel about it.
Charlie, I have to say, it did kind of gel when he kind of got involved a little bit, because I do think that we have similar goals. You know what I mean? I think
that's key.
Both. Yeah, I think we are both determined.
Yeah, like the whole idea behind the supporters group for me is, you know, let's get together as a bunch of people, like-minded people, watch the games. That's was that. You know, so,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
You know,
fantastic.
We mentioned this on the. I think we mentioned this before we went on, but you know, our mission. I'll mention it again. I'll say it every single episode as many times as I can. It's basically to showcase all the supporters groups in the country, to kind of encourage those who aren't in supporters groups that are, or maybe kind of thinking about it. They might have a buddy or two, but think that might be too small. But like you guys said, you know, it's all about just persistence and just to get out there, wear the scarf, wear the shirt, like you mentioned earlier too. And we want to encourage those to start. I don't care if it's a small town. I really don't. I mean, I don't care if it's, you know, major city either. It's just, we want to grow the American fan base. We want to show what you guys do and show how much fun you guys are having with your groups to, you know, light a fire under other people's butts. So, thank you.
And do, yes, absolutely. Agree totally. And do keep sending us, everybody who's watching or who watches this eventually, keep sending us your videos from the pub. Send us your selfie videos of why you love West Ham. We're getting them. Thank you for sending them. We're getting them. We're going to get them up at some point when we figure out how to do it.
Still, I got to get that editing workshop from the guy from Irons United. He's going to help me out with that. But just haven't been able to link up due to the time difference and work schedules, etc. But we will figure this out. This is a work in progress.
Yep.
But once we figure it out, the videos will look a lot better. I also do got to mention, once again, since I drink coffee every single episode, even though it's 9 o'clock at night, Strava Coffee out of Denver, Colorado. They,
Strava?
yeah, Strava Coffee. They're actually.
It's actually really good coffee.
They're one of our sponsors. They're fantastic, and they do everything from regular coffee, decaf coffee, as well as, you know, the coffee with the CBD oil in it as well. But for those who are not into that, they do have regular coffee, and it's gourmet and it's fantastic. Like I'm addicted to it. I'm addicted to coffee.
It brings a new meaning to the phrase "coffee pot."
Well, it's not like that. But anyway,
I know.
For anxiety and everything else. And
I'm a dad. I told the dad.
But Jesus. All right. So that said, there's a link in the description below. If you want to order some Strava coffee, all first-time buyers get 15% off. So that's kind of cool because you know, the coffee with the CBD oil in it at like $35 dollars half pound. So you can use that 15% off coupon, which would be very helpful because it's definitely worth it. But anyway, that said, thank you guys. Thank you both for coming on. Sorry for the technical difficulties. We were having technical difficulties before Charlie even came on, so it might not even be your fault. Who knows? But it was a pleasure speaking with you, Gena. It was a pleasure speaking with you, Charlie. Lee, as always. Next, who we got coming up, Lee? Do you remember?
Sunday night. Who is it? I don't know. I don't have the schedule in front of me.
Alamo City.
Oh,
Alamo
right.
City.
Oh, one of my favorite places. I love San Antonio. One of my favorite cities. So
we've had potentially Myrtle Beach on next Thursday postponed potentially, and also the following Sunday we were supposed to have Pittsburgh, but they had to push it back because the date just does not work out. But on the 28th, fingers crossed, we're going to have Sean from New York City, the guy that we were supposed to have on the first time around. The founder.
He gets a little crazy, by the way, so that's a good one to watch.
That'll be a definite one to watch. It might look like a Crossed Hammers episode if you guys ever want to see something really cool and fun and interesting, and parental advisory logos all over it. But it's really funny though. I mean, if you can get,
that's really Nick, funny. Right? Is that Nick?
No, it's somebody. It's the other guy, and okay. But it's absolutely hilarious stuff, and it's only maybe like 2 or 3 minutes long. He's in the car smoking a cigarette, just swearing away and about West Ham. But anyway, after that, we got Maryland coming up. We also have Knoxville on the schedule, Chicago on the schedule, Holy City on the schedule, which is out of Charleston, South Carolina. We are trying so hard to get LA. We're trying so hard to get Seattle. We're trying so hard to get Hollywood Hammers as well.
Yeah.
But we just, for whatever reason, can't figure it out. But we're trying. We'd love to have those on because the Hollywood Hammers is a pretty big group too. You know, same thing with LA. We'd love to have them. Oh, San Diego is another one that we're in talks with.
They have connections too, Hollywood Hammers. James Corden's a West Ham guy. Seth Meyers is a West Ham fan. So, you know, I'm not saying we're having those guys on, but
no. Yeah, but
we're working on, you know,
we have days to fill.
Stratosphere. Yeah.
Also, real quickly, not to keep Gena and Charlie on forever, but I'm sorry about that. But we do have, I guess, Mondays. Yeah, Mondays. Mondays in the mornings. I'm going to be adding more content with everybody from Wayne from Dallas to, you know, Kevin from Columbus is going to join me in a couple of these interviews that we have lining up. From anybody having anything to do with West Ham that we can get scheduled. But on the 19th, we have someone who was, she did some work with the West Ham Way. She did some work with West Ham TV, not West Ham Fan TV, but West Ham TV, doing interviews. And she also contributed to Bubbles Monthly magazine, wrote a few pieces in that. And we're going to have her on. Her name's Holly Worthington. And that'll be cool. So that'll be like the first interview that we get done.
On Twitter, actually, Holly.
Yeah. Yep. So we're going to interview her. I mean, like I said, we're going to have ex-players, ex-coaches, ex-staff, ex-whatever. You know, contributors, anybody ever having anything to do with West Ham past or present, we're going to start getting them out there to add more content. Because our backbone is showcasing you guys, the supporters groups for, you know, American Hammers. We also want to, you know, dive into some other stuff. So anyway, Thanks again, guys. If you can just hang on 1 second.
Yep.
We'll take it easy, but come on, you Irons.
Come on, you Irons.